we're here at NYBC. This is Derek Holland, pro MLB pitcher, and he has some great thoughts on catching because he's on the other end of actually throwing the ball. So we're gonna dive into what is he looking for in a catcher, what bugs him in a catcher, what are the best relationships that he's had with the catcher, what's made them great, what's made them bad. So let's start. Who's your favorite catcher that you had to work with?
Well, I've got a few, so I'm gonna give quite a few. One was Mike Napoli. That's probably my favorite one. Obviously, we had such a good relationship both on and off the field. Our chemistry was unbelievable. With that being said, though, I've also had Benji Molina was a great one. Pudge Rodriguez, another great one. Buster Posey was another great one. Somebody else that really stands out that I definitely want to shout out to is Nick Hundley. He knew me very well. He kept me grounded. The thing that you look for in a catcher is being able to have that chemistry, being able to talk to each other, knowing when something's not right, being able to communicate with him and get him back into sync. The thing that stinks though with now is the pitch clock. So we don't have, you got to think about, that's one thing that does suck a little bit. Yeah. Is I could throw, 2 balls and, I'm behind the count. Before I could, walk around the mound, catch my breath, and he could say something to me from that, but now it's not. It's go time right away. The big thing that I know that a lot of the great catchers do, one, call a great game. They know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and they try to pitch around that, using that against whoever's up at the plate. Also, they set up perfect timing for me. Guys are different. Some guys like it early, some guys like it late. I'm a guy it's kind of early for the most part. Is what I mean by it is, when I'm here, as soon as I take my first step, the catcher gives me the target, I pick up where I'm going from there. When I'm out of the stretch, as a lefty, I'm always trying to control the running game. So I will look at the target, come set, I see it, okay, now I look at first, now I look in between, now I can see both. They'll set up that point. Now, I know a lot of guys like to move and try to distract the hitter to let them know. That's fine. They do it at the right time. Again, each catcher will know the pitcher, what they like, what their ticks are, what doesn't work for them either. So with that being said, is for me, as soon as I pick up my leg, that target needs to be set because I'm coming right to you. I'm gonna look right at that target, pick it up so I can go right through it. No hitter, I don't care what anybody says, can tell me where my eyes are looking by standing at home plate when I'm on the mound. So that's the big thing. For me, again, I like when a catcher sets up, not super early, but early enough to where as soon as I pick up my leg, I've got my target. I know.
Share the thing that you said about the glasses and the eye tracking.
So
that was cool.
I did a test. It was with Ryan Sollins. It's part of Tom House's program. He's my pitching guru here in Texas. So if anybody's looking for him, he is in Texas. Ryan Sollins got me these glasses, and what it does is it shows me where I'm looking. It was a study. I don't know the name of it right now, which stinks. I can't give that, but literally it shows exactly what I'm looking at. So for me, and they did this in a simulated game. I was doing live BPs with all the guys that were here, and they were watching to see where my eyes looked because they were curious, and I told them, but they didn't believe me. So we got the eye test out, did it. I like to look at hitters' feet, hands, and I want to see where the positioning is in the batter's box. We would give out situations too when we're facing these guys, and you can see how guys move to different spots trying to either put the ball the other way, pull the ball, whatever the case may be, or if it's a guy who likes to guess pitches and he's setting up for something. So maybe he's looking for me to come inside because he knows that's where I'm about to throw, so he's going to see my eye looking there, so I see him move. So it's all about looking at guys' positions of their hands so that I know what my strength is for that pitch.
And then, right as the pitch was coming, your eyes would shift.
As soon as I picked up my leg, my eyes go right to the target.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that, as we were talking earlier with some other kids at camp, that was really interesting from my perspective because he was like, if you're gonna mess up one thing as a catcher that's gonna drive me crazy, it's not giving me a target. And I was like, what else? And he's like, just give me a target. I think that's such great advice.
Catch the ball.
And catch the ball, right?
No clanks.
Don't clank the ball, don't bounce the glove.
That'll frustrate.
Now, as you're thinking about the target, does it bug you if the catcher has like a tilted target?
Because you're not looking, so American Sniper, Chris Kyle, he used to come up to the Rangers ballpark, and one of the things that he said that as a pitcher and as anything you're doing when you're throwing something or shooting something in his case, the saying was aim small, miss small. So for me, if I'm looking at your mitt, I'm going to try to find, for instance, here you'd see the writing. I'm looking at that. I'm trying to go through that. So I'm aiming small, miss small.
Yeah, interesting. Very cool. Okay, so you talked a lot about the chemistry of the pitcher and catcher. What were some of the things that Napoli did that, see that smile? That's what you want. When a pitcher hears your name and you get that face, that's when you know that you did a good job as a catcher.
It's just being able to have that chemistry. I mean, we were inseparable. I mean, we were both always together on and off the field. I even lived with them for a little bit during one of the seasons. It's just being able to have that chemistry. You're around each other, you know each other's personalities, you spend time with each other. I get it, like having beverages together, stuff like that, like being around them, having dinners, all that stuff. You're building that up and you don't realize how important it is until you realize it when you're on the mound.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the thing is he knew me so well that if I got into a funk, he knew exactly how to say it and how to incorporate it to me to where I'm going to understand what I'm doing wrong. That's what you need out of the catchers. That's the leadership. You know, we preach to catchers about being leaders because you're in control of that whole mound. If we look at the field, the one guy that rotates, hopefully he doesn't. You hope he stays out for all 9, but he rotates out is the pitcher. So he needs to be able to have the relationship with all of the pitchers. And that's what Napoli did such an unbelievable job is he was so good. He's a clubhouse guy. He's such a great teammate. And he did an unbelievable job of knowing how each person was. Who can I really say something to? Who can I really goof off with? Who do I got to be a little bit softer with?
Yeah.
Those different.
Yeah, man, that's so good. And so you said something else earlier about you got to butter up the pitchers as the catcher, right? And at the same time, sometimes you got to figure out how to give them a slap on the butt and kick it into gear.
You gotta pick the right moment.
You gotta pick the right moment. I mean, that's so hard to teach, but if you had to share something about how you can kind of tell, like for a young catcher out there.
For young guys, this would be the easiest way is, okay, we're gonna bring Derek out. He's gonna pitch 7th inning. Oh man, that's not who I want. Don't do that. It's more of, okay, he's coming in. If you're not happy about it, it's fine. Keep it to yourself though. Don't let your emotions come out. What happens is, same thing with pitching in general. When your emotions take over and you start getting negative or displaying negativity, it carries out throughout the rest of the team. They see that, they know that, well, he's not in it, he's checked out. So for me as a catcher, what I loved about Napoli, whoever it was, any catcher to be honest, that somebody came in and you didn't feel the greatest about, they buttered him up. They made him feel like they were the greatest person in the world out there. And that's how it should be. You want the confidence. You're trying to give him as much confidence on that mound so that he can deliver every pitch to the plate with confidence and belief in what it is. Because the hardest thing to do in this game is trust your stuff.
So good, so good. You need to listen to that. If you're a catcher, someone comes in, whether you like that pitcher or not, whether you think that he's the right call or not, he's out there. You got to figure out how to get him to be at his best, and it's normally not going to be by saying, gosh, I can't believe this guy.
Well, it'd be easy. It's, all right, Coach Bougie, you got this. Let's go. We're going to throw strikes. Get this guy. Let's get the first one. That's the main thing is always teach. Get the first guy. Don't worry about who's up next, who's in the hole, whatever. Let's get this first guy. When you're giving him that confidence, the way I'm saying it to you now, you're going to be like, okay, I got this. I got this guy. I believe in myself.
Yeah.
And then I might ask you, hey, what do you got working for you? Okay, this is what we got from the pen, because they don't get to watch you warm up.
Right.
They might see a little bit in between innings due to maybe cameras, whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what's working for you? You're going to tell me, okay, let's do it. Let's nail this stuff. We're going to go first pitch, blah, blah, blah. Let's get it. Give them the confidence booster so that way when they get out there, they believe in themselves and then they see that you believe in them too.
Yeah, man, that's so good. If you had to help a young catcher understand the basics when you're doing a mound visit, now I know it's changing with the pitch clock and everything, but
well, you still get the mound visits.
Still get the mound visit. How do you make a good one? What do you want to avoid in a bad one?
Don't bring up anything that's happened already. You know, if anything, it's more of, in the game of baseball, you want to forget. It's more about forgetting. Trust me, I've had plenty of times where I've given up 50 runs, you know, whatever. It's how quick I can forget. And if you're telling me, all right, I don't care what happened with this other stuff, let's get this guy now, it gives me a different sign of relief to where it's like, you're right, who cares about that? Let's worry about this. And then you start focusing on what's ahead of you now. Because if you don't, then it becomes a snowball effect, and the next thing you know, you're giving up another 50 runs and you're out of the game. So always just be confident out there. Hey, you know, things aren't going your way, still got to butter them up. Make them feel like they're on top of the world. I know things aren't going your way, but it's going to start right now.
Yeah.
It starts now, it starts with this. That's how you kind of get the guys back into their groove. And you also tell them like, hey man, you're really pulling off on that front shoulder. Let's get back in a line. Let's go back towards me. Let's get back to the basics. That's what it always comes down to, is just finding the basic tools instead of trying to analyze so much, because you only got a little bit of time. Let's get you feeling right. Let's get your confidence back into you, and let's go.
I love that. How do you call a game? I know there's
Well,
so many
scouting.
different strategies. Okay.
So for me, you know, at big league level, it's different because I got my own scouting report because I'm watching video, I'm studying the hitters. What did this previous lefty, you know, one that I would always use when I was playing with the Rangers, John Lester, what was he doing when he was with the Red Sox against the Yankees that I got to face next week? Or what did Cliff Lee do against whoever? Those are the things that you kind of look at. So you're picking that apart.
So similar type of arm against that same lineup.
Always find somebody that's close to you.
Yeah.
Don't try, you know, I'm not going to go watch Byung-Hyun Kim, somebody from way back. I'm not going to watch him to face whoever it is. You got to watch guys that are similar to you. As a catcher, you're doing the same thing, studying these hitters. Then you get your scouting report also from the team, and then you also get the scouting report from me was from Maddox. So I had 3 different things I'm looking at. I'm studying that, studying the hitters, watching film, watching myself be successful. That's the one thing that I strongly encourage is make a highlight reel of yourself, throwing strikes, striking people out, doing your job.
Yeah.
The more you keep seeing that, the more the positive visualization is in your head. And now you're prepared for once you get out there on the mound, you're good to go, and you have confidence in whatever pitch that they call.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, throw the pitch you want to throw. There should never be a situation where, you know, the catcher might be calling something over and over. If he calls it over and over, then step off. If that's not the pitch you want, gather your thoughts, that's the pitch we're going with, and then you throw that pitch. So it's all about having confidence, conviction, and being able to throw with the purpose of knowing that you're going after that target for the reason that you guys have agreed on.
Interesting. And then for a kid that doesn't doesn't have access to Greg Maddox's data
Right.
and Cliff Lee's data.
So you should be studying hitters whenever you're playing against the team. If you're not playing, or maybe you're even a position player and you're out there, you're watching these hitters. You're still watching. You're still in the game. So keep yourself engaged, because when you're not, and you're sitting on the bench or whatever, if you're lollygagging and not paying attention, you're not doing yourself a favor by knowing what's up at the plate.
Yeah.
So always, at any time when you're on this field, it's time to learn. Whether you're sitting on the bench watching the game go on, or you're out in the field and you're not pitching yet, you still study each hitter. Like, oh man, I just saw him do this. I think I can do that same thing.
Yeah.
Like, have the confidence of doing that.
And what would you say, like, as a catcher, when you're looking at hitters, of what their tendencies are, what's maybe one or two things that you would look for?
It's all, to me, I mean, count based. Runners in scoring position. If you get a runner in scoring position, 9 times out of 10, they're trying to go the other way. They're always trying to put the ball over this side so that they can get to the third base. So they're trying to move the runner. So you're trying to pitch against what they want to do. But you also got to know your strengths. You know, if you're facing the power hitter, he's not trying to go the other way. That dude's trying to hit a nuke. So you got to pick and choose your battles in that situation. It's kind of tougher for me to say exactly how, but you're watching your hitters and studying how their approaches are every time they're out there. As a pitcher, that's what I did. Like, I'm studying you so that when I get out there on the mound, I already have my game plan, and you already have the game plan that whoever was in there before me, or maybe it's my day, whatever. You have a game plan, we're playing together.
That's awesome, man. Any other final words of advice to all the catchers out there?
It's all about just setting up, work on the framework, condition yourself, take care of yourself back there, but be a leader. The main thing is just being in control. This is your team. That's the easiest way I can put it, because you see everything. The guys out here don't get to see everything that's behind them or any of that situation as well. So be the leader out there, take control, take charge, and be that guy.
That's awesome. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, awesome.